We are only 2 days away. You've been asking for it. You've been begging for it, pleading for it, demanding it. Well, coming up on Wednesday, July 22nd, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. UK time, I believe that's correct, is the official gameplay reveal for Mafia Definitive Edition. Now, Mafia Definitive Edition has been delayed to September 25th. Hopefully, that's when the game will officially come out for PS4, Xbox One, as well as PC. But the gameplay trailer is coming this Wednesday, July 22nd. And I'll definitely be doing a breakdown video of the gameplay trailer coming up on this Wednesday, July 22nd. All right, so what we're going to do today, this was an idea submitted by Senior Fish in our Discord to go over some ideas that some of you came up with in a previous video a few days ago, the mugshot winners and collectible cards video I posted a few days ago. By the way, thank you to everybody for subscribing, getting us over 12,000 subscribers. Whether you joined the GeauxBurns Nation for Mafia, Red Dead, GTA, or even Ghost of Tsushima, welcome to the GeauxBurns Nation. Thank you so much for continuing to like and support my content and streams. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the comments section of my mugshot winners and collectibles video, and we're going to look for comments that talk about ideas that some of you may have had for collectibles you would like to see in Mafia Definitive Edition. Now, disclaimer, there's a possibility that all we're getting are wanted posters and cigarette collectible cards in Mafia Definitive Edition, but it's cool to have ideas. You never know. Maybe Hangar 13 will be watching and they'll look at some of the ideas and they'll be like, you know what, those are some cool ideas for the next Mafia game. Anyway, so let's get through this. By the way, I'm not going to read every single comment, just the comments that submitted collectible ideas for Mafia Definitive Edition, FYI. But I always appreciate you guys leaving your thoughts, your views, and opinions. And I do read your comments. I may not always respond, but I do read your comments. The pros, the cons, even some of the other interesting comments that I get. So here we go. First off, let's start with Kyle. He would like a pulp detective novel. That'd be a good idea. I mean, that does make sense. It does fit the 1930s time period. Next is AG, and I believe AG is Senior Fish. I could be wrong about that. I really wish people would use the same name, just like I do, across all platforms. I'm just saying. But here's some ideas they have. Let's see, newspapers, events from in-game, in Mafia and Lost Heaven, as well as real life during the Great Depression era, the Prohibition era of the 1930s. Movie posters, the Vargas paintings, which Senior Fish did mention already in our Discord. They were in Mafia 3, but unlike the Playboy magazines, which cannot be included as collectibles for Mafia Definitive Edition because it wouldn't work for the timeline, Mafia 1930s, Playboy didn't exist yet. But the Vargas paintings, as Senior Fish pointed out in Discord, did actually exist. The pulp magazines, novels, just like Kyle suggested, jazz records, because jazz, swing music, quite popular back in the 1930s. So those are definitely some great ideas. I see Diamond says maybe some concept art as collectibles. That's actually a good idea. I believe that concept art was collectibles in Mafia 2. I could be wrong about that. But that's also another great idea, Diamond, is that simply by completing objectives in the game or going here or going there, you also get the collector's art from Mafia Definitive Edition. And maybe even some of the artwork from Mafia City of Lost 7. I'm sure they have that laying around the office in Hangar 13 Czech, a.k.a. 2K Czech, a.k.a. Illusion Studios, whatever you wish to call their studios. Next, let's go to Woofy. I think it would be awesome if we could collect records like in Mafia 3, but actually play them at our save house on a gramophone. That's a good idea. I like that. Newspapers, pocket watches would be cool. Different designs of pocket watches. Easter eggs to other Mafia games. Cigarette cards, maybe with Falcone, Vinci, Leo Galante, Sal Marcano. Well, probably, I guess you could say younger versions from the 1930s era, because I'm sure all of them were alive. Sal would be a lot younger, so would Leo, and Vinci would probably still be old. Falcone would be a little younger. Let's see, next we go to David. Let's see, vinyls. Each vinyl you collect would unlock a soundtrack in the main menu. I like that idea. That's another added incentive for you to go after the vinyls. Not only with your ability as mentioned, to play them in your safe house, but also to rotate between the OTS scores and tracks in the main menu. That would be really cool. A few collectibles that Trenton came up with, pulp novels. Pulp novels are quite popular once again with everybody. That really does make sense. Characters from the era like Green Hornet, The Shadow, that would be good. Obviously, like I mentioned already, the Playboys really wouldn't make much sense because Playboy didn't exist in the 1930s. Let's move on now to Antonio. He says he doesn't think that the collectibles will be like Mafia 2. Cigarette packs will replace the Playboy mags. You'll be able to find them only in missions. I hope that's not the case because it was so easy to miss Playboy magazines in Mafia 2. I feel like Mafia Definitive Edition is going to be built similar to Mafia 3, so I'm sure you'll be able to find cigarettes and the posters scattered throughout Lost Heaven and Mafia Definitive Edition. I guess we'll have to just wait and see. Let's go with David. He says they should put real Chicago mobsters on the wanted posters. I guess, but at the same time, Lost Heaven is supposed to represent the Mafia-verse version of Chicago. But, I mean, they could still put Scarface on there and Machine Gun Kelly and Bonnie and Clyde. That was another example that Karunzi suggested for fictional or real-life wanted posters besides the 5 winners. And once again, congratulations to all 5 winners of the mugshot contest. Daniel, comics. You know, comics is not a bad idea because that's when we started seeing the first Supermans, the first Batmans. I know you mentioned Mafia comics, but, you know, comics is not a bad idea. The problem is, I guess, would be a licensing issue here and there whenever it comes to getting these licensed characters and their comics from the 1930s versions. And there's probably licensing deals for the Vargas paintings as well as those vinyls in Mafia 3. And of course, the Playboy magazines that were featured in Mafia 2 as well as Mafia 3. Before we wrap up, I did have a couple of additional suggestions for ideas for collectibles that we'll go ahead and go over. Baseball cards. Baseball cards already at this point by the 1930s were quite popular, especially America's game, baseball. So they could have collectible baseball cards scattered throughout Lost Heaven for you to collect from some of the greats from the 1920s, 1930s era of Major League Baseball. Stamp collecting was quite popular as well, so you could have a variety of stamps that are found throughout the map that you could pick up as a collectible too. Postcards could also be really cool collectibles from different landmarks and bridges throughout Lost Heaven, as well as Empire Bay, New Bordeaux. And finally, some items based off the fictional brands and products in the Mafia-verse, like Swift Cola, Trago Oil, Stull's Beer, Humphrey Brandy, as well as maybe like miniature versions of the vehicles in Mafia Definitive Edition. It would be really awesome, as mentioned already in the comments section, if all the stuff you collected would accumulate in your safe house and you could go to your trophy room and you could look at your like fictional brands, a can of Swift Cola, or like small cars from the game, as well as the cigarette cards, the wanted posters, etc. It would just be really awesome if not only we collected those items, but every time you went back to your safe house, you would see them up in various parts of the safe house. It would just be cool. And also, like mentioned, the ability to play some music from the score through a gramophone. That is a good idea as well. So those were a few ideas that I came up with and you came up with regarding collectibles that we would like to see in Mafia Definitive Edition. Reality is, most of those we're probably not going to get, but at the same time, it's always fun to think about, speculate, brainstorm, because you never know, somebody at Hangar 13 might be watching, and it may give them some ideas for collectibles for the next Mafia game down the road. Anyways, thank you so much once again for all of your input, as well as your comments, your likes, subscribing to the channel, as we wait eagerly for the arrival of the gameplay trailer for Mafia Definitive Edition coming up Wednesday, July 22nd. Once again, I'll be doing a breakdown video of that trailer and then streaming Mafia Definitive Edition when it launches, hopefully September 25th, 2020 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. your thoughts, your views, and opinions about collectibles you would like to see in Mafia Definitive Edition. As always, welcome below in the comments section.